afternoon and welcome to Italy. It's round 4 of the FIM Motocross World Championship. We are at Pietramarata. It's the MXGP of Trentino, and we are about 10 miles outside the town of Arco on the shores of Lake Garda, a beautiful part of the world nestled in the shadows of the Dolomite Mountains. In MX2, Paul Jonas is so far unbeaten in 2018. He's won all 6 races actually this year and all 3 Grand Prix, but he was denied here last year by his teammate Jorge Prado, who picked up his first MX2 career victory. And in the qualifying race, you'll see in a moment, it didn't go the way of Paul Jonas. So are we going to see the first upset of 2018 in MX2? Of course, we'll bring you all the action live from the circuit here in Italy. It's a beautiful day here, and the circuit, about 1,660 meters long, bathed in glorious sunshine. We've got a pretty decent crowd here today as well. Circuit absolutely perfect. Some work still going on out there, and you see the riders down there behind the gate getting ready for their first race. They've already been out on their sighting lap, or they're about to go out on their sighting lap, and any moment now. And we will get down and talk to a couple of riders as well. In fact, Lisa Leyland was down on the grid a few moments ago. She spoke first to Jorge Prado, who was a victorious rider here. But before we do any of that, though, let's take a quick look at this circuit in a little bit more detail. Here's our GoPro track preview coming up in just a moment. We shot this on Friday. Our GoPro track preview for round 4 brings us to Trentino. And this is the first real hard pack test for the riders. The first 3 rounds have been on soft ground or sand, and we can't really come here to this track and not talk about this part of the racetrack. Turn 8. It's where Tony Cairoli single-handedly turned an MXGP Grand Prix upside down on its head. How did he do it? He came out of turn 7. Normally, what would happen is the riders would come out, swing around, and continue the momentum and open up this turn here into a nice wide sweep. What he did was the opposite of that. He charged up the inside, he jumped long, and by doing that, he was able to force the riders wide, and he took them to the bank here, and by doing that, he was able to secure the pass on a circuit that last year proved quite challenging and quite difficult to overtake. Well, I say difficult, he was the only rider to be able to make those kind of passes. Can he do it this weekend? We'll have to wait and see, because the riders for sure will know that that is a key line. Knowing Tony, though, you can't outfox a fox. He'll probably go wide and swing inside and do what they were doing, only this time he'll do that to make the pass as well. So this part of the racetrack, turn 8, will be something for us to keep an eye on. So here we are then, about 4 corners from the finish line, and you'll see one of the most significant changes here is no waves through that sweeping left, and also we're stood on the top of a second tabletop jump here. What this says to me is one of 2 things. Maybe we're going to slow it down a little bit with the pace, or it's going to be a test to determine who can scrub the best, because the jump faces here are quite steep. So when you scrub this one and stay low, and scrub the second one over there and stay low, then obviously that might determine how fast you can get towards the city jump. If you don't make a pass here, then you can make the pass at the bottom of the hill, where it's all about outbraking your opposition. So keep an eye on the place at the top of the hill here, and the place just here, 4 corners from home. Either way, there's going to be some fantastic racing here at Trentino. We hope you enjoy all of the action here on Sunday. Quick look at the circuit then in detail there with our GoPro track preview. Riders out on track for their sighting lap. A few moments ago, Lisa Leyland caught up with Jorge Prado, who was a winner here last year. But before that, Adam Sterry from FNH Racing Kawasaki. Let's hear what these guys have to say ahead of MX2 Race 2 here in Trentino.
Hello welcome to the start. We're well and truly warmed up for the main events of the day. It's almost time for MX2 Race 1. But before we get underway, I want to speak to Adam Sterry. Adam, let's talk about yesterday's qualifying. P7, not a bad result for you.
Yeah, yesterday went good. I got an alright start, about 10th, and then made a few passes on the first few corners, which was good. And was able to get away in 7th after the first lap, and then stayed there till the end of the race. Nothing too crazy, just did Saturday, wanted a solid result, and yeah, like last year it didn't go as well, so.
What are your thoughts on the hard-pack track here? Because it is the first proper hard-pack track of the season. It's a bit of a classic here in Arco, so what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I actually really like the track here. Yeah, every year I'm excited to come here, and I don't know why, I usually don't like tracks like this, but yeah, I like it here, and yeah, obviously it's an amazing place to come, and I usually seem to have good luck here, but yeah.
And just tell us quickly, in terms of your package for the season, it seems to be pretty solid. You seem to have everything together.
Yeah, the package is good. Everyone in the team, yeah, I can't thank them enough. Everyone's working really hard. We're trying to improve each week, which is, yeah, I'm trying to improve the ride and the team's improving the bike. So, yeah, I thank them for that. And it's a long season, you know. It feels like we've been going for a while already, but we've got so many rounds left. And, yeah, I'm just looking to improve each week. And then at the end of the year, hopefully, I'll have a few podiums and fight for race wins.
Have a great race. Thanks, Adam. And the second rider I'd wish to speak to is Jorge Prado. Jorge, let's talk about your results at this track. First race win here, first overall win here last year. You won your first qualifying race win here yesterday. What is it about this track here that seems to suit your style?
I don't know, I think probably the dirt. It's kind of special. I mean, it's hardback, but at the same time you have stones on top, so it's quite slippery, and I think, well, it's just a good dirt for me.
Well, we've seen some close racing between you and your teammate, Paul Jonas. It's been really close. He's won every round, but yesterday we saw him get off to a bad start. Could this be your weekend for your first GP victory this year?
Well, I hope to get the same start as yesterday, so a whole shot, and after that, you know, it's just, we'll see how it goes. We are all really fast, so well, I will try to do my best to try to beat them.
Have a great race. Thank you. Good luck to all the guys there. It's time for MX2 Race 1.
Riders making their way back from their sighting lap then ahead of MX2 Race 1 here at the MXGP of Trentino at Pietramarata. Here's how it looks in the championship at the moment. Paul Jonas has won every single race so far. That's why he's on 150 points. 30 points behind him, Thomas Kjær Olsen, and Jorge Prado moves himself up to third after a good GP at home a couple of weeks ago in Spain at La Comunitat Valenciana. Hunter Lawrence, though, fourth, will not line up today. He crashed in time training yesterday, hurt his hand, went out in the qualifying race, as we'll see shortly, but he didn't finish that either, and it's since been diagnosed that he has a broken right hand. Here's how qualifying went yesterday, though. The gate dropped. Samuele Bernardini was up the inside. He got squeezed, though, by Alvin Osland as Jorge Prado took the whole shot ahead of Thomas Kjær Olsen. And from there, no one really saw the Spaniard. Behind them was Thomas Kjær Olsen's teammate, Thomas Covington, and then Conrad Muse, and Ben Watson wasn't too far back either. Nor too was Henry Jacobi. Jacobi was in about fourth place on the STC race in Husqvarna, the first of those two white bikes there. Covington, though, was showing his cards early. Found his way onto the rear wheel of Conrad Muse on the Hitachi Acer KTM. But it took him a while to find his way past the young Englishman. Tried several times, but eventually there was a mistake here from Muse. Couldn't get on the power. Covington was through on lap 6th. That put him up into third. Behind him, though, the two Brits, Conrad Muse 426 and Ben Watson on the Khmer Yamaha. They went at it for about another 3 or 4 laps, but they eventually did go the way of the 919 on that blue Yamaha. Got himself into 4th with about 5 laps to go. Meanwhile, Paul Jonas on the Red Bull KTM had a disastrous start. He was wide at turns 2. fought from way outside the top 20 and got himself into a decent position in the end, but he will be going to the line in 15th place. Not exactly what the defending champ wants, but we've shown that he can get a good start from anywhere. That was the only little hiccup from number 919, Ben Watson, in the closing stages of the race, but he did manage to hang on to 4th position. Thomas Covington was 3rd, Thomas Kjær-Olsen was 2nd, but it was Jorge Prado who took his first ever MX2 qualifying race win at the same place that he was victorious here in the Grand Prix 12 months ago. Decent crowd in here today for the MXGP of Trentino, round 4 of the FIA Motocross World Championship. Here's how the MX2 riders go to the line based on their qualifying race results yesterday, and Jorge Prado will go to the line first, ahead of Thomas Kjær-Olsen, Thomas Covington and the rest. I'm joined now, though, unfortunately, by an American rider who rides for Bike It Dixon, Bike It DRT Kawasaki, of course, Darian Sanai. Now, Darian, tell us why you're not riding. I know you raced an English Championship race last week, and as a result of that, you're not going to be performing here today.
Hey, Paul. Yeah, we are here. Unfortunately, I'm just watching this weekend. I tried to ride in the warm-up, but last weekend I got an injury on my knee, so unable to race this weekend. Hopefully, I can do a little rehab and get back shortly.
Okay, well, Darian Sanai will be joining me throughout the broadcast here in this first MX2 race. So we're just moments away then from MX2 race 1, and Jorge Prado lines up on pole, but alongside him, number 426, Conrad Muse. Darian Sanai, having raced this track and you know, being out there yesterday, having raced here before, actually even on the podium here in an EMX 250 round before. Yeah. What is the circuit like? It's obviously the first real hard-packed track. It's hard, it's clay-like, but they have brought in some dirt, haven't they? Some fresh dirt on top.
Yeah, exactly. I went out for the warm-up, and I actually liked it a lot. It looked really good with the little bits that they did, and put that soft soil on there.
And obviously looking at Conrad Muse here, he was in a battle yesterday with Ben Watson. Those two came home 4th and 5th, with Watson edging out the KTM rider. Here's your fellow American, Thomas Covington. Yeah. What can we expect from these guys? And what did you make of the qualifying race yesterday? Because you didn't actually line up, did you?
No, I didn't line up. I was just watching it, and it was a really good race from Prado. I mean, he was on top of it. But Thomas, he turned it on really good after the first couple laps, and came through riding really well. So I think it'll be a good race. Hopefully he can get a good start and show what he can do.
Is it a difficult racetrack here at Trentino?
It is. It's very technical, and it's hard packed. So you have to be really, really smooth and playing with the bike and playing with the track, not really just charging. It's definitely technical, and that's why Prado excelled so much.
Well, just looking at the riders lineup here and looking at the championship, obviously Paul Jonas leads. He's not lost a race so far this year, but you and Prado both came close a couple of weeks ago. You were showing good speed, so you must be really disappointed not to be lining up today.
Yeah, exactly. It was a really good race, but yeah, I mean, it's motocross, it happens.
MX2 race 1 getting ready to go here at the 4th round of the FIA Motocross World Championship, the MXGP of Trentino here at Pietramarata. And my name is Paul Malin, alongside me Darian Sanai, unfortunately injured this weekend from Bike It DRT Kawasaki. Not the only one though, because Hunter Lawrence has a broken right hand after a crash in time training yesterday on Saturday. He did try to go out in the qualifying race as well, but lasted just 2 or 3 laps. The pain was just too much, so not sure if we'll see the 114 Motorsports rider in Portugal or Russia, so we'll just have to keep an eye on that. But 30 minutes plus 2 laps here for the MX2 and MXGP riders, and the 15-second board moments away. In fact, right on cue is the 15-second board there. Mr. Ingo Parch, our FIM race director. We've got a packed house here at Trentino. Who will it be, though, that grabs the foxhole shot? Because, well, the gate drops here, and oh, somebody tried to go really early there. Not sure who that was. Was it one of the Yamahas? Was it Seva?
I think it was Seva Barilko.
But it's Prado who charges through, grabs the foxhole shot. A couple of riders getting a domino effect out there at the back end of the grid. But it is Prado with his second.
And Jacoby there in second. Riding really well.
Yeah, Jacoby's riding really, really good at the moment. And Thomas Kjær-Olsen, is that in third place? Yes, it is. And then Thomas Covington in fourth position. And so just behind them was that Nicola Bertuzzi. So the 26 on the KTM getting a flyer as well, ahead of Michele Chervelin, who lives about an hour from here. Then Jago Geerts, Morgan Luciano, Paul Jonas, a better start for him. And I suppose we can expect to see him carve his way through the field. But Darian Sinai, it's not the easiest track to overtake on here at Trentino, is it?
No, definitely not. It's quite technical, but I mean, it is possible. Any track is possible to pass. You just got to be pretty creative.
Thomas Kjær-Olsen and his teammate Thomas Covington side by side as they head into that far turn 10, the left-hander, the 180 switchback. But the American has to sit there and wait in fourth position. But a great start from Chervelin. That's him in the light blue, just in the bottom corner here. The Italian on the Martin Honda. Hard and slick now really starting to come into play. There was a lot of water went down on the circuit first thing this morning.
Yeah,
we've had the 125 and the women out there as well. But the rock really starting to come through now, Darian.
Yeah, when I was at the Monster signing earlier, I was looking at the track and actually saw quite a bit of rock on the track compared to last year.
Which is amazing because they brought in a lot of soft dirt as well on the top. So that's already dissipated and disappeared.
Yeah. Some areas, though, it's still pretty soft.
So just looking at these MX2 riders, they make their way down towards the back of the pit lane area, towards the end of this first lap. There is Thomas Kjær-Olsen. He is still there in third place. Starting to pull clear of his teammate a little bit here, Thomas Covington, as he goes after Henry Jacoby on the STC race in Husqvarna. We'll give you the breakdown in just a moment as they hit the line, but it is Jorge Prado who leads the way by almost 3 seconds over Henry Jacoby. Thomas Kjær-Olsen third, Covington fourth. That's him there, number 64 on the Rockstar Energy Husqvarna. Then we've got Chervelin, Jonas in sixth, Jago Geerts 7, Bertuzzi 8. Puig is 9 and Bernardini 10. Zach Pichon is 11, ahead of Adam Sterry, Morgan Luciano, Tom Koch, Bas Varsen, Sever Brilyakov, who, if that's him there, has done well to recover after what we think was hitting the gate before the gate dropped. Brent Van Donik, Conrad Muse, Jorge Zaragoza and Iker Larinaga are your top 20. Just looking down the order, Watson, it might have been Watson actually because he's in 27th place. So that's going to be tough for him because he's 5th place in the championship at the moment. 6th place tied with Conrad Muse. But here is Jonas looking for a way round. Back from injury, 747, Michele Chervelin. Well, they've actually taken the ruts away from here, Darian, so difficult part of the racetrack.
For sure. Looks like Jonas here, having 15th gate pick. He didn't get that great of a start what he's used to, but still up there, so.
Obviously, he's won all 6 motos so far. We know that he's fast, and obviously, you know that he's fast as well.
Yeah.
But, you know, a very close qualifying race last week or 2 weeks ago in Spain between you guys, you, Jorge Prado, and Jonas. It's not unbeatable, though, is he? A mistake there from Jago Geerts. He tried to go up the inside of the defending champ.
Yeah, Jonas, the thing about him, I think that's really good is he's very consistent. So he's always on it. Sometimes not crazy fast, but even when he's not crazy fast, he still pulls out with the win.
Well, here's Chervelin at the bottom of the hill, getting ready to complete their second lap. Prado was fastest last time around, a 1:51.5. Is he going to go quicker again this time around as he builds momentum? Yeah, a 50.330. So decent lap times there from Prado. Jacoby, fantastic ride for him, and we're seeing him at the front quite a lot, aren't we? So going to just see Jonas here heading downhill, and Jonas in trouble here, was he?
Oh, he tried to come on the inside. Didn't get it, though.
No, Chervelin just managing to rail around that outside, and Tony obviously looking for new lines to find passes this year, because obviously that one that he used last year might be well and truly used and abused this weekend.
Yeah, exactly. Here, and now there's some ruts in that corner, so it looks like everybody's kind of holding their own in that one.
Paul Jonas then over the Monster Energy tabletop, over in front of the main rig there, and a whole bunch of fans over on that side of the racetrack. But in this turn 12, this off-cambered left, Jorge Prado really starting to open up a gap now. He's 3.5 seconds clear of Jacoby, almost 11 seconds clear of his teammate, and looking very easy on the bike. Would you agree, Darian?
Yeah, exactly. Prado is when he gets the start and he's feeling confident, he's really good with his technique and playing with the bike, and it's showing.
Paul Jonas, though, struggling to find his way past Michele Chervelin. As we said, not the easiest place to overtake on here at Trentino. And a lot of the lines all sort of seem to be going inside at the moment. Until they start to bobble out and get very choppy, it's going to be that way inclined, isn't it?
Yeah, it's going to be pretty interesting, I think, to watch Paul's here and see what he does, you know. I mean, being a little bit further back, and right now he's not moving any ground up. So whether he's going to wait a little while and try to make his charge, or what his strategy will be.
Jacoby then over the line, 3 laps in the bag for him. And we wait now 5 seconds for Jacoby to go through. Thomas Kjær-Olsen not really making any inroads either, nor to Thomas Covington. There's a whole bunch of guys on 51s behind Prado. Prado 49.6 though, another outstanding lap for the young Spaniard.
Yeah.
He's now 5 seconds clear of Jacoby. Thomas Kjær-Olsen third here. Thomas Covington, his teammate, the Rockstar Energy Husqvarna, is fourth. Chervelin is fifth. Jonas still struggling down there in 6th position. Georgo Kirch for Khmer Yamaha is 7th. The LRT KTM of David Puchas is in 8th place ahead of Nick Patuzzi, Samuele Bernardini and Zach Pichon. Then we have Sterry, Farson, Bridikop, Lisiado, Van Donnick, Koch, Larinaga, Zaragoza and Conrad Muse in 20th place. Watson in 23rd as well.
Wow.
So 2 guys who are 5th and 6th in the championship are struggling around this Trentino circuit. Your knee injury, Darian Sinai, picked up at a British Championship race last week. Left or right knee?
It's the right knee.
Right knee, ACL, did you say? Or what's the damage?
Yeah, it's the ACL. But, you know, we're just going to try to get the swelling and everything gone and the bruising and try to go from there.
All right. Jonas, aggressive at the bottom of the hill, finds his way eventually past Chervelin, but as you can see, short, sharp uphills coming out of those turns, off-cambered even on the uphill there, and you have to really feather the throttle through there, don't you, because it's very easy to lose the back end.
Yeah, I'm guessing they watered it quite a bit. We can't see that corner very much, but it's looking like everybody's spinning pretty hard coming up that hill.
And you can see some of the water laying in between the gaps here between these jumps. But Jonas, now that he's got clear track, looking to go after your fellow American, Thomas Covington.
Yeah.
If you're Jonas, where are you looking to find a way past? Obviously, anywhere on the track will do. But is there one specific place on the track, or is it like we've just seen? You have to be hard and aggressive on the brakes at the bottom of those hills.
Yeah. I think he just got to get close and put a wheel in somewhere, but. Not do it too soon, really. You know, you don't want to show your spot that you're going to do it, and then they see that.
Well, here is Thomas Covington drifting through that inside. The loose stones now starting to come to the surface. What kind of tyres are the guys running here? Because you can say hard pack, but it's not hard blue groove, is it?
No. I think most people will be running that mid-soft tire. Definitely not a sand tire. But I think, yeah, the mid-soft tire would be the best choice because it's still good on those hard packed bits. But then it works well in a little bit softer areas.
Prado takes a quick look across the left to see how far Henry Jacoby is. Still around about 5 seconds, something like that, between him and the German. Then we've got Thomas Kjær-Olsen just at the end of the wave sections now coming towards us. And then Jonas definitely got his teeth into the 64 of Covington. Haven't seen too many people pass through the inside there in the races so far this weekend, but he gets good momentum, good drive around the outside. Covington will close the door at the bottom of the hill, but Jonas not taking any of it and just muscles the American aside, and he struggles on the exit of the turn, but managed to get the job done. Sometimes you don't have to make it look pretty, but Jonas certainly weighing in there with the might of that number 1 plate.
Yeah, he really put that in on there, but he got the pass made, and we'll see. Hopefully Thomas can just stick with him and try to go
Jonas
up.
Then on the charge, he moves up into 4th on lap 5. Paul Jonas at the end of pit straight then into the final turn. Gets ready to click off his 5th lap as he goes in pursuit of Jorge Prado, Henry Jacoby, Thomas Kjær-Olsen. They're the 3 guys ahead of him now. So the Red Bull KTM, the STC Husqvarna, and the Rockstar Energy Husqvarna. He's just disposed of one of them in the form of Thomas Covington just a moment ago. Behind them, Michele Chervelin, Jago Kietz, and David Pucis, Nicola Bertuzzi, and Samuele Bernardini. Adam Sterry up to 11th now. Zach Pichon up to 12th. Ryakov has been pushed down to 13th by the young French kid. And then we've got Bas Varsen, Morgan Leciado, Brent Van Donnick, Lieke Larinaga, Conrad Muse, Ben Watson, 18th and 19th. So Watson's had a good couple of laps because he was about 23rd a lap or so ago. And then we've got Jorge Zaragoza.
Yeah, Watson's charging hard coming up there.
So we're looking down here at Paul's Jonas, and let's go down a pit lane to speak to Valentina.
Valentina, we're looking at Paul's Jonas at the moment. He doesn't seem to be getting the starts he usually is good at. I mean, qualifying he struggled. He's bad start today.
Yeah, yesterday actually he didn't have the best start ever. So I believe also the position at the gate from yesterday, of course, he's suffering a bit for that because he could not choose the best position. So I guess it's fine when he's in the top 5, let's say. The season is long and he has a good gap. So, and Jorge is very good in this track. He's been always, so yeah, I believe he's fine at this. Yeah.
Thank you.
So Paul's Jonas in, trying to push on, trying to get in some decent laps. We've got 19 minutes plus 2 laps to go here. MX2 race 1. See the track starting to dry out now. It's getting hard and slick. Loose shale on the top. Softer in 1 or 2 areas, but not as rutty, not as bumpy as yesterday. Darian Sanai still with me with 18.5 plus 2 to go. Prado 9 seconds clear now of Jacobi, but Jorge Prado's teammate here, Paul's Jonas, in 4th place. Lapping about 3/10 slower than the race leader, but he is quicker than Jacobi, who is 52s now. So in that respect, Darian, what are you expecting here from Jonas in the next 3 or 4 laps? Just a hard, solid charge?
I think right now he's just got to put a hard charge on and try to catch up there. It's looking like he probably won't catch Prado unless he does something special, but definitely the 2 guys in front of him, he needs to try to get them.
Well, Prado's never been off the podium here. It's actually, as we heard him in the pre-grid interview, he won his first qualifying race here yesterday, took his first race winning Grand Prix victory last year. He was on the podium in 125 and 250 European Championship. And it's amazing how some tracks have that kind of feel.
Yeah.
I mean, was this a place that you enjoyed coming to?
I did my first time in 2016 here in the EMX Championship, and yeah, I rode with Prado. We both were like 1 and 2 on the starts and just battling together. But last year I didn't do so well, but I was looking forward to it this weekend, actually. It's unfortunate.
Yeah, 250, you were, second behind Sanai, and, sorry, behind Thomas Gerolson, and Jorge Prado was 3rd that day, as you said. So this place would have had great memories for you, especially with a lot of people commenting on your bike at the moment, saying it looked very, very fast in Spain a couple of weeks ago. Dixon normally does turn out a good bike, but you know, you must be happy with the package that you have, but also disappointed that you can't get out there and ride it.
Yeah, exactly. They've made a pretty good step this year and made the race bike quite competitive. So I feel better. The bike felt better. So yeah, I mean, like you saw, it was showing. And yeah, we'll just see if I can heal up quick and get back to it, start racing with these guys.
Do you think making a winter program in England made the difference this year in terms of being with the team on that regular basis?
Well, I actually wasn't this year in the winter. I moved to Lommel in Belgium. So I trained there and just tried to get strong and better in the conditions that I'm not good in.
Okay, so you were in Europe, you weren't based in the US, left to your own devices.
Yeah, exactly. It was my first time in Europe for the whole off-season, so it was quite different.
Right, back to the action. We're on lap 8 here. Jorge Prado continues to lead. He's 9.5 seconds clear of Henry Jacobi, Thomas Kjær-Olsen, Paul's Jonas, not really making any inroads. And we did say at the top of the program, is this going to be the first upset of the year in MX2? Because Jonas has won all 6 motos so far. He had a bad start in qualifying yesterday. Couldn't get any higher than 15th in the qualifying race on Saturday. And as we said, not able to advance any further than 4th at this moment in time. 4 seconds down on Thomas Kjær-Olsen, who won a European round here 2 years ago in the MX250. But just goes to show, doesn't it, Darren Sinai, that you know, motocross is not always a foregone conclusion, and
no.
Anything can happen. Start is key though around this circuit.
Yeah, for sure.
What about this kid here, Jargo Kietz, of course, 125 European champion 2 years ago, and FIM Junior World champion. Had a tough year in EMX 250 last year, but kid's still in school until about the end of June.
Oh yeah.
He's showing good promise, isn't he?
Yeah, he definitely. I see him in Belgium practicing, and he's really strong in the sand. I think he won the Belgium race last weekend. He looks good and should be good, I think.
Yeah,
in
it's
the
obviously
future.
difficult for you to sort of comment because obviously you're in direct competition with
Yeah,
these guys.
exactly.
But you know, I mean, what age are you?
I'm 21, so I have this year and next year in the MX2.
Yeah, and so he's obviously just getting started. You know, he's still a teenager. You know, so from that side.
Yeah,
but,
exactly.
What about Thomas Covington? He's in 5th position at the moment. A guy you know pretty well, I guess.
Yeah, he lives about 10 minutes from me now in Lommel, so we're hanging out quite a bit. We don't train or anything together, but I'll go over to his house or he'll come over to mine and we'll just hang out, really.
All right, well, look, hopping up for 2nd position. Henry Jacobi, he's done a good job of being there right pretty much from the very first lap, but Thomas Kjær Olsen on the factory Husqvarna starting to bear down on the German, and the 29 on a private Husqvarna as well. There's Jonas in that bottom corner as well. That's the gap between 2nd, 3rd and 4th. Jonas really still not making too much ground with 14 minutes plus 2 to go, but Thomas Kjær Olsen getting ready to strike here, but then runs into the bank, runs into trouble. Survives it though. But you can see how those lines are really starting to develop now at the bottom of the hill. Again, struggling for traction uphill here, number 29, Jacobi. Starting to look defensive, isn't he?
Yeah, for sure. Olsen's putting it on him right now, so it will be interesting to see where he tries to make a move.
I think it'll be at the bottom of the hill. He'll probably go long on the city jump if he can, but doesn't get through there clean. So might have to wait just a little bit longer. Anyway, STC's Husqvarna rider here. Jacobi, let's go down to their pit crew.
And with Daniel Zollinger, team manager for STC Racing. Daniel, we see Henry have a great start again. Does he have the pace to keep up front?
Yes, he started perfectly, and I can go over this time the perfect times in the laps. We hope so. We're coming in at the end. And the 2nd, 3rd, 4th position, perfectly for Henry, also for the team.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, his rider doing a great job at the moment there, but I know one guy wishing he was out there at the moment is Darren Sinai. He's alongside me here, just getting his teeth into this one as well. Which way do you think this one will go? Darren, think the 29 of Jacobi can hang on in there, or?
It'll be interesting to see. Honestly, I think probably Olsen will get him. But, I mean, Henry's already now, it's 20 minutes almost into the moto, and he's been holding 2nd, so he's riding a really good race.
And just closing in now is Paul Jonas. So as the longer Thomas Kjær Olsen stays behind Jacobi, the more chance he's got of closing in on these two.
Yeah, that's going to make a good race.
Battle, yeah, for 2nd position at any moment now. Another mistake in that corner from Thomas Kjær Olsen. Probably pushing just a little bit too hard.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, but this weekend Olsen looks just a little bit off. Like last year he was really good, and especially in 2016 he was really good at this track. And obviously, I mean, he still got 2nd yesterday in the qualifying race, but just watching him, he just looked like a little bit not so confident.
And obviously now you can see those couple of mistakes have allowed Jonas to close right in on the number 19. These two are the only guys that have a 100% podium record in 2018 now as well. They've never been off the podium. Jonas 3 wins, Thomas Kjær Olsen 2nd and 2 thirds.
Yeah, they're both.
So both on it, but both struggling here in general terms.
Yeah, looking at it a bit, but I mean, they're both really consistent, and you know, I mean, even when they get a bad start, normally they're up there pretty good.
Ten laps complete. MX2 race 1 here. It's the 4th round of the FIM Motocross World Championship. We're at the MXGP of Trentino. Pietra Marata. Jorge Prado has led right from the very first lap. He's almost 14 seconds clear at the moment on his Red Bull KTM of this battle here. The 29 on the STC Racing Husqvarna of Henry Jacobi of Germany, who I think takes a look over the shoulder for the first time to see exactly who it is. He's probably had the information from his pit crew, but it's Thomas Kjær Olsen breathing down on him on that Rockstar Energy Husqvarna, and Paul Jonas, who made a poor start, eventually now has got himself into fourth and just not able to close the gap enough. He's inched towards these two. We thought a lap ago that he was going to be getting ready to make a move anytime soon, but I think he might have made one or two mistakes of his own, Darian Sinai, because that gap has gone back out again slightly, hasn't it?
Yeah, it looks like Jacobi's holding his own here, and yeah, the space is still gapped a little bit, so it doesn't look like he's going to be making a move anytime in the near future.
Looking for different lines as well. Paul Jonas down the hill, starting to get a little bit choppy at the bottom of those hills, and TV definitely doesn't do this place any justice, does it? The hills they're short, but they're sharp, they're steep. Yeah. And those braking bumps, towards the end of the day, certainly get very, very severe.
Yeah, and the braking bumps are hard too, you know, so maybe they're not as big as like on a sand track, but when you hit them, you feel it for sure.
Every lap. Problems with blisters around here as well, with it being the first hard track, or are you guys all well honed down in that respect?
I think with blisters, I mean, we're all pretty used to it riding, you know, our whole life. So actually red sand though, every time I go there, my hands just get eaten alive.
And which is surprising, because I would have said normally this place here, with the temperatures hovering around 20 degrees, you know, you start to sweat in the gloves. This is probably the first place that you would have seen it, because it was so cold in Valkenswaard. But the pace was high in Spain, so it's difficult, isn't it, to sort of ascertain?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, but it's part of it, you know, doing the World Championship. That's the thing. You got to be good everywhere.
Jonas finally looks like he's got himself right onto the rear wheel of Thomas Kjær Olsen, and the 29 of Henry Jacobi. Back marker moving out of the way. I'm not sure if that was Busrame, actually. 872. Certainly riding in the same colourway as him, but he's a lap down. But I'm impressed with Henry Jacobi. A lot of people have been, and again, Darian Sinai, I know it's difficult for you to sort of like heap praise on him, but he's probably surprised a few people this year, hasn't he?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I saw him training, I think, in Germany a couple times, and actually in red sand.
But mistake there on the exit of the turn, and Thomas Kjær Olsen slams it up the inside, makes a mistake, and looks to the inside to defend. But runs in a little bit hot. Is it going to come out on top here? Yes, he does, just about. So finally, on lap 12, Thomas Kjær Olsen does find a way through, and it was a mistake from the 29 of Jacobi. Couldn't quite get the drive on the uphill, and that was the difference. And it's almost like Thomas Kjær Olsen was waiting for that mistake.
Yeah, exactly. On a track like this, and especially being in that position, you know, he knew that a mistake was probably coming. So as long as he's in a striking zone, he made it happen.
Well, he said he doesn't look like his normal self. Probably just, I don't know, riding a little bit tight, but he's there in second position.
Yeah.
You'd take that all day long, wouldn't you?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if you can be tight and maybe not riding like yourself, but still be getting on the podium, that's a good day.
So with 7 minutes plus 2 laps to go, then MX2 race 1, Jorge Prado now 16 seconds clear, but it's the number 19 of Thomas Kjær Olsen who leads this trio of riders over the top of the hill, who now sits in second. Henry Jacobi is in third. Paul Jonas is in fourth position. And Jonas also getting ready to strike. He went wide to the outside a lap ago. He's now gone to the inside. Looks like they've created that inside line there at the bottom of the hill in the break there, because that wasn't there yesterday.
No, for sure. They made that with the tractor, I think.
Starting to warm up, and the pace starting to get pretty hot out here as well, as we keep an eye on this battle now between Jacobi and Jonas. Jacobi got off to a perfect start in the season with a 5th place finish in the first race of the year in Argentina. We thought he was going to finish third in one of the races in Valkenswaard. So it was Busrami there that had the issue.
Yeah. And
but he DNF'd that race, did the number 29 of Jacobi. But here he is now, still in third. It looks like the mistake there from Jonas. It looks like he could stay there in third, and at worst, finish in fourth, which will still be a great result for him.
Yeah, exactly. That'd definitely be good. And I mean, he's showing that he can run up front with the top guys, so that's good.
And again, as a rider, Darian Sinai, the thing that we see here is you've got someone like Henry Jacobi who's been up and down. He's had the odd result here and there in the past on that STC, Husqvarna, or whatever he's ridden in the past, you know, previously. But it just goes to show, doesn't it? You know, you get a good start, and if you can hold your own for the first 10, 12 minutes, first 5 or 6 laps, something like that, you start to go with the front guys, you start to distance, you know, the rest of your rivals, and then you start to get comfortable. Is that the...
Yeah, exactly. That's a huge part of it, you know, getting the start and running with the front guys. And, I mean, if you don't have the speed, just trying to run it as long as you can and learning that speed, you know, if you can do it consistently, I think that's a good thing that, like, Prado's done. He's always gotten good starts, and maybe last year he didn't have the speed to win, but he just kept running up front, and he eventually started getting it.
Yeah, because a lot of people, you know, you can say, oh, yeah, fast enough or not fast enough, but if you're used to, you don't get a good qualifying, you get yourself a bad gate pick, you're always at a disadvantage, you know, and then you start battling, you're always in 15 to 20, 25. You get a good qualifying, you make a good start. As you said, you stay there for the first 10 minutes or so, and all of a sudden you run there and you think, actually, this pace isn't that hot, or I can run it for half the moto.
Yeah, exactly. It's more of like a confidence thing, I think. Just and feeling like you belong to be there, really.
And this kid certainly is, and after the results that you've had recently as well, you know, Red Sand was a good one for you, Argentina was a good one for you. Did you feel actually that this was looking like it was going to be your year in terms of the fitness was there? A mistake again on that exit from Jacoby, but you know, when you showed the good speed in Argentina and certainly in Spain 2 weeks ago, you know, you're sitting there thinking, you know, this has got my name written all over it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it started really just after Nations last year. I came into preparing for this season, and you know, I wanted to be a top guy, and not just at one or two tracks. You know, I wanted to be consistently up front, and I was doing it for a few rounds, but hopefully we can continue.
Then obviously, I suppose the real downer is, you know, you got was it a third in one of the races in Argentina, and then a second in the second moto in Spain. You know, that kind of form last week should have been just a building race. And obviously not to be. Yeah,
for sure. I mean, but it's motocross, things like that happen, you know, and just got to take the goods and the bads and try to be positive about the whole situation.
Obviously not easy to ride with an ACL injury, but that's obviously what you try to do this weekend. So do we know any more at the moment in terms of how long you're expected to be out, or is that a wait and see?
Yeah, I kind of knew this weekend was not going to be possible just because the trauma that happened around it too, you know, like the bruising and the swelling. But I think we get that gone and start doing some physical therapy, and I'm pretty confident that I'll be back within a few rounds and fighting for wins.
Okay. Well, back to the action here. 3 minutes plus 2 to go, or thereabouts. Here's Thomas Covington just off the back of that group. He's still in 5th position. Jonas now starting to get a little bit closer to the 29 of Henry Jacoby, who's showing good speed. But again, you know, having fitness or having a lack of fitness is one thing, but that mental toll of being up front and pushing, you know, can just take it out of you a little bit. I'm not saying he's not fit.
No.
But it's just not used to this pace.
Yeah, exactly. Having the nerves and everything for that long, definitely.
And approaching back markers as well.
Yeah, he got the whole shot, I think, in Red Sand in the first race, and kind of fell back a little bit from that. But now, I mean, you know, you try to do it more and more, and this time he's not. So,
as you said, you do it one time, you get used to being there, and then you start to believe, and then all of a sudden, you're climbing that next level.
Yeah.
Taking a look across to his pit board there. 29, Henry Jacoby on the STC Racing Husqvarna. He's still in 3rd place. He's got the defending champ and the rider who's never lost a moto behind him, Paul Jonas. Is he going to deny the Latvian a step on the top 3 in this moto? We'll have to wait and see. We've still got a minute and a half to go, plus 2 laps. So, what lap time is about 1:53. Prado 15 seconds clear of, well, he's 18 seconds clear. I tell you what, it's going to be very tight to see if it's 2 lap board next time around.
Yeah.
Very tight.
When you're racing, I mean, you're not really thinking about that, but it always depends. Like Jonas, obviously, he probably wants another lap, and Jacoby doesn't. So.
Yeah. Well, we'll just have to wait and see, but he's getting close to that 3rd place. Henry Jacoby still hanging on to 3rd. Thomas Kjær-Olsen just ahead of him in that next left-hander. Turn 10 over on the far side of the racetrack, the furthest point away from the start line area. And Jonas Still not able to do anything about Jacoby. Thomas Covington is still in 5th. Chervil in 6th. Jago Kiet 7th. David Puch is 8th. Adam Sterry 9th. And Sever Buyakov 10th. Bernardini is 11th. Watson up to 12th. Been a hard charge through the field for him, but just 9 points on the board for the Englishman. Ika Laranaga, again, he was around 20th on the opening lap. We've got waved yellows here, but nothing too major, I don't think. Watson actually just going through into 11th place, so he's found his way.
He just ran the fastest lap, actually, too, I think.
Yeah. So 52.5, but Watson now up into 11th, Bernardini 12, Laranaga 13, Varson, Pichon, Bertuzzi, Jed Beaton. He must have had a poor start as well, because now he's up into 17th ahead of Van Donnick, Luciano and Conrad Muse, who's been down there around about 20th right from the very first lap or thereabouts. So some of the guys not making the best starts and struggling to come through, as we sort of said about this track.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's the thing, you know, if you get through quickly and you keep going, or you get stuck and kind of get a little bit frustrated. It's unfortunate for Muse, because he had a really good race yesterday.
Didn't see what the time was when Prado went through, but it must have been very, very tight, because we've still got 3 laps to go.
Yeah.
But looking very smooth and very comfortable. The 61 on the Red Bull KTM, Jorge Prado. We've not seen too much of him here, but you know, getting off to a great start yesterday in the qualifying race, pretty much was able to do his own thing. And it's almost like a second home Grand Prix for him, isn't it? Well, third, actually. Argentina, the Spanish influence, and then last week in Spain, or 2 weeks ago in Spain, and now here, because spending a lot of time in Italy with Decali.
Yeah, that's true. I think he's kind of a favorite at a lot of tracks, though.
And you say that because?
Just everybody likes him. He's young, he's a nice guy, and he's good.
Crowd favorite.
Yeah.
Looking good, though. Dropping downhill. I did actually speak to him on Friday when he was walking the track, and he said he was looking forward to this place. Said it held a lot of good memories for him, you know, never off the podium, all that kind of stuff, but just looked forward to riding the hard pack. What about you, Darren Sinai? Are you a hard pack specialist, or are you more of a sand and loam and dirt rider?
I would say probably in between is my favorite. But yeah, I like hard pack also too, but I have been living in Belgium now, so riding that soft stuff.
Yeah, you enjoy that?
I definitely didn't in December. December I wasn't enjoying it, but yeah, now I'm actually liking it, and it's just so good for the fitness.
Yeah, we just saw a moment ago as Prado went down past pit lane. Have we had a mistake here from TKO, because all of a sudden Prado is, Jacoby is back into 2nd position. So
dang, 1 lap to go, 2, huh? Or 2? 2
to go.
Yeah.
So a mistake from Thomas Kjær Olsen. Right, see if we can see any dirt down one side of the shoulder, or is it just a case of, 55, he lost about 3 seconds or so. So he's definitely made a mistake, probably overran at one of the bottoms of the hills, possibly.
Yeah. But, I mean, Jacoby ran a good lap that lap also. 52.4, what's that, the fastest one of that one?
Yeah, out of the guys, 54.8 for Prado. And then this is what happened, actually, between Jacoby and Thomas Kjær Olsen. Thomas Kjær Olsen was just a little bit uncomfortable and untidy down there, and he got slammed to the bank. So
you really put it in on there.
Took a look back as well. Cheeky from Jacoby.
TKO won't be too happy with that, I don't think.
And look at Thomas Kjær Olsen. He's closed in on Paul's Jonas. So
Covington,
Sorry, who did I say?
You said Olsen.
Sorry. Glad someone's paying attention.
Yeah.
But Covington all over the back of Jonas.
America.
And looking good. So not the outing that Jonas would have wanted here, possibly, just with struggling, it seems, actually. Didn't look comfortable yesterday, and he's definitely looking far from comfortable now. And Covington down the inside. Wasn't it an aggressive move early in the race for Jonas on Covington?
Yeah, he squeezed that in there coming down the hill, so maybe Thomas is going to try to do it back to him, but
we'll see. Got a lap to go.
We'll see, yeah.
Prado still waiting for him to come through. 18 laps, there you go, bang on the money. And Jacoby, is he hanging on for 2nd? Yes or no?
I think he will, honestly. Well, I don't know. Olsen, he's running a pretty good lap right now, too.
Yeah, it's still there, 12.5 seconds behind, and we're waiting for, wow, look at that, 2.5 seconds further back is Thomas Kjær-Olsen. Then we've got Jonas here, then we've got Covington, who just runs wide, bounces over the top of that triple step. It's not that difficult to jump, is it, that step up, but it's...
No, yeah, I think just the way that the grooves are in the ground and stuff, and then trying to make your line. Got to be very playful with the bike and the track.
So Jonas, can he hang on? Or can Covington just spring an attack down the back of down the bottom of one of those hills over there in the distance? A fantastic ride here from the STC Racing Husqvarna, though.
Really
He's put himself in second, and with that aggressive move on Thomas Kjær-Olsen, and he's managed to break free from the Tall Dane. And Covington looking to go down the inside of Jonas. Jonas will just get those elbows out and defend that inside line all day long, but he's not been clean out of the bottoms of the corners, has he? And I just wonder whether, you know, he's just been, you know, suffering with a little bit of traction, but same tyres on the Husky.
Yeah, true. I think it's going to be this corner coming down here and how they get up the hill.
Slight bobble there for Covington out of that left-hander, that off-cambered turn 12. And again, look, cleaner for Covington. Might see a pass at the bottom of this hill if it's close enough.
Doesn't look close enough to me.
So Jonas might just about hold on here then. But there's Thomas Kjær-Olsen going through. There's Jonas, there's Covington. Jorge Prado is a little bit further up. He's about to hit the line and win for the first time in 2018. So the Red Bull KTM, the young Spaniard, Jorge Prado, rounds out the final turn. He won his first qualifying race of the year yesterday, and he ends the streak of his teammate. And I'm sure he'll be super pumped about that, as you guys say at home. But second, Henry Jacobi. What a fantastic ride for the German. Then Thomas Kjær-Olsen third, Jonas fourth, Thomas Covington coming home in fifth place. Great start and a great ride for Michele Chervelin. He goes through in sixth any moment now. We think, 18 seconds off the lead. That's a good effort for Chervelin in his first race back from injury.
I think this is his home race here too, no?
Literally lives probably about an hour, less than an hour from here. But Jago Kietz goes through for Kamir Yamaha in seventh. Davey Puches will go through in eighth. Seba Bryakov should be nine, and Adam Sterry will cross the line in 10th for FNH Kawasaki. But in a moment, we'll have Lisa Leyland down there talking to Jorge Prado, our race winner. There he is, getting into position. Let's hear what our first-time race winner for 2018 has to say. Jorge Prado getting ready to speak to Lisa. Here he is.
Jorge Prado, congratulations. Your first win of 2018. You were looking forward to come to this track, and I can totally see why.
Yeah, I'm so happy. I think first win of the season. I mean, heat race. And really happy about my race. Start first again, and pretty much like yesterday, so really happy.
Okay, good luck for the second moto.
Jorge Prado then pretty much a start to finish race win here in Moto number 1 at the MXGP of Trentino. Can he do it again later on? He certainly looks comfortable. It looks smooth and efficient as well on that Red Bull KTM. But 25 points on the board. He takes his first race win of the season. Jacobi was second. Fantastic ride for the German. Thomas Kjær-Olsen, Paul Jonas, Thomas Covington were your top 5. Darren Sanai, before you disappear, what did you make of that performance from Prado here and the rest of the field?
Throwing some style over the finish. Yesterday he threw like a pretty sick whip with a one-hander. But that was a really good race. Smoked it. But good for the rest of the guys. It should be interesting for the second race to see who gets on the podium.
Well, Jorge Prado wins race 1 then. Henry Jacobi second, Thomas Kjær-Olsen third. Jonas, Covington, Chervelin, Kietz and Puches your top 8. Bryakov and Sterry ran out the top 10. Great ride for Ben Watson to get to 11. Bernardini was 12, Fasten, Larinaga, Jed Beaton, Zach Pichon, Nick Bertuzzi, Brent Van Donnick, Steve Rubini and Conrad Muse, Stefan Rubini actually, and then Conrad Muse in 20th position. Just outside of the points there, Maxime Renault rehearsing for his EMX 250 rides, but good to see him out here riding as a wild card. Beautiful, picturesque location here at Trentino, right beneath the Dolomite Mountains. And, well, if you missed any of the action, let's see and recap MX2 race 1. And it was right from the center of the gate there.
Prado.
The number 61 of Prado, and Muse actually got caught through the first turn. That's why he got such a bad start, and I think that was Watson maybe as well in that first turn.
Yeah.
But it was Prado who led the way. Thomas Kjær-Olsen thought about going around the outside of the 29 of Henry Jacobi, wasn't able to do so. He saw the water down on the track in the early stages as well. So a lot of riders struggling for traction in the early stages, but it was a good start and a good run up front for the 29 of Jacobi. Thomas Kjær-Olsen was biding his time, waiting for the track to dry out as Jonas struggled in the conditions in the early stages, shadowed by the 193 of Jago Kiertz, who eventually came home in 7th. This was Jonas making a move down the inside of Chervelin early on. Then he went after Thomas Covington. So that would have been for 5th place.
That was his passing spot there, coming down that hill.
But he couldn't do anything about it later on in the race. So, you know, he wasn't able to get close enough and execute it. But this was Jacobi losing out to Thomas Kjær-Olsen. The number 19 on the factory Husqvarna charged himself up in the second with that move on the German. But the 29 would have the last lap a little later on in the race. Up front, all by himself, was 61 Jorge Prado, the Red Bull KTM rider, just dancing around at will around this choppy circuit. And with a couple of laps to go, a slight mistake, but an aggressive pass from the 29 of Jacobi on Thomas Kjær-Olsen, got himself back into second. At that point, Jonas had disappeared and was a lonely 4th, almost coming under attack from Thomas Covington in 5th. But Prado went on to take victory in race 1 from Jacobi and Thomas Kjær-Olsen. Jonas hung on for 4th, Thomas Covington came home 5th, and the first Italian home was Michele Chervelin in 6th. So that was MX2 race 1. My thanks to Darren Sinai. Darren, any idea when you will get surgery on your knee, or do you need surgery?
I think it's a preference kind of thing. Obviously, yeah, surgery is how you fix it.
Yeah.
But at the moment, I think we're just going to try to see how it goes, and probably won't see me back in Portugal, but hopefully after that.
All right, Darren Sinai, thanks for joining us here today for MX2 Race 1. Foxhole shot time, and yeah, Jorge Prado, Red Bull KTM Factory Racing for the 2nd time this year, same as his teammate now. So he will go to the top of the Foxhole shot classification because it's all done on the last race. So it should be Prado, Jonas, and then we've got 3 other riders in there as well. Jacobi, Puchis and Hunter Lawrence, who got the first whole shot of the year in Argentina. Right, next race up on MXGPTV.com will also be MXGP Race 1. We'll take a look at some of the best moments, and we will be back soon after that. Right, we'll be back in just a few moments for MXGP Race 1. We hope you can join us for all the action from Trentino.